Joe Biden finally accidentally used the word crisis. And for some reason, that's news. And that is an unfortunate thing that's happening right now when there is genuine despair and concern and a crisis and everything you could say is happening at the border where you're seeing videos of children being thrown over. You're seeing this problem and you're seeing all of the things that are happening. And we've politicized a word.
They were asking about this refugee caps issue that had plagued the administration because they didn't raise a number, and some Democrats were upset they didn't raise a number, and they quickly backpedaled and said, we're going to raise the number. But so that's what the question was about.
The problem was that the refugee car was working on the crisis that ended up on the border with young people.
So use the word crisis, the big naughty word you're not allowed to say here. When there are thousands of people, there's all of the unaccompanied minors. We've seen that issue that's been going on for months now, and we've seen his poll numbers sink on this from Democrats and Republicans, from everyone, for this reason. Again, I feel like you're politicizing the wrong thing. And then you had Psaki just yesterday, just to clean it up a little bit, to clarify, this isn't really a crisis. But listen to the word. I mean, you can't believe this is real.
The president does not feel that children coming to our border seeking refuge from violence, economic hardships, and other dire circumstances is a crisis. He does feel that the crisis in Central America, the dire circumstances that many are fleeing from, that is a situation we need to spend our time, our effort on, and we need to address it if we're going to prevent more of an influx of migrants from coming in years to come.
I mean, listen to this. The children coming to our border seeking refuge from violence, economic hardships, and other dire circumstances is a crisis. How out of touch and how politically semantic do you have to be to realize how ridiculous you sound?
Call it whatever one may. What we know is there's a real risk to American security if we don't have sovereignty at our southern border. They've given that up by allowing these people to travel into our country who aren't here lawfully and then releasing them inside of the country. The humanitarian calamity as well. I won't use the word crisis. Young kids, women being trafficked across our border and the coyotes and cartels preying on them. I don't know why they've shied away from using that word. I'm happy to use whatever word they'd like. What I'd really like to see are actions that will protect American sovereignty and stop this trafficking across our border.
Here's just yesterday, things that were, and people that were caught at the border dealing with the situation. A man arrested convicted of child abuse, a rape suspect, a 4-time felon, gang member. They also rescued an unaccompanied 15-year-old pregnant migrant child, and a woman who's trying to sneak in 21 pounds of heroin and cocaine stashed in her car. So we have people smuggling drugs, and who knows if these people who are actually doing it are even to blame in this situation. A lot of these people are paid, and they are, sadly, slaves to the system.
It's been known that this is a humanitarian crisis for a long time. And when we see the numbers of detained children or children that were picked up, and you see the toddlers that are tossed over the wall, that's a crisis. You can admit reality, but they won't believe what is right in front of them.
This is when we have a big issue here in America, because we aren't given the honest truth. We're giving some weird political spin. And as one of our producers said, she said it's a dire situation.
Dire circumstance.
In a dire circumstance, just by its pure definition and synonyms of the word are dreadful, appalling, shocking, alarming. In other words, a crisis.
It shows that they don't have a cohesive strategy. When you see what Vice President Harris is saying about it's going to be virtual summits, and then you see that they're trying to not admit that they're closing some of the border gaps, and then you see some of the deals they make with Mexico that we can get into in further segments, that it shows that they really are just kind of throwing the proverbial spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks, and trying to weather this crisis instead of being an administration that will lead on this issue. And I think it's something that the base that elected the Biden administration wanted a cohesive strategy on this.
Specifically,
they
this was an issue.
Didn't want them to just fly by night and figure it out as they go.
We know the disparity is there. We know that there are real humanitarian issues, but focusing on a word, and I will say that for both sides, focusing on a word is not going to solve any problem. So let's move on, give it to us straight, talk like a human being, and let's not focus on ridiculousness.